Hey, what's up? Meredith here, and I'm back with another video editing tutorial for you on your phone. In my very last video, I showed you a bunch of different apps that are available. One of them is Adobe Premiere Rush. We're gonna get started with Premiere Rush. I'm gonna walk you through it on my phone. I have to connect my phone to my computer, so we're gonna head over there in just a second. If you have never heard of or used Premiere Rush before, it is an app for your phone and for your computer. It's connected to Adobe's Creative Cloud software service, whichever. So it's not free, but you can use the app and you can check it all out for free. You can actually create as many projects as you want. You can only export a limited number, so it's free for you to check out, and it's definitely something you may want to look into if you want that kind of robustness of having Adobe software and, without the complicatedness of Premiere Pro, because Premiere Pro is kind of like a black hole. So one of the cool things about Premiere Rush is that all of your edits that you make on your phone and on your desktop, they sync together. So you could start an edit on your phone, particularly if you shoot videos on your phone. You could start editing them there and then sync them to your desktop to make some more changes and then upload to YouTube from there, or vice versa. So we're gonna jump back here on my Mac. I'm gonna use ScreenFlow to show you what I'm doing on my phone, to walk you through using Premiere Rush on your iPhone from start to finish. So we're going to open up Premiere Rush here. And if you haven't used Premiere Rush before, if this is your first time, you're probably going to see a blank screen here, and you should see this blue button that says Create New Project, and you can hit that button or you can tap the plus sign at the bottom. So I'm going to choose my Creative Cloud here. Now, I put some clips from my GoPro over into my Creative Cloud folder. So I have these here inside of my inbox. I have a whole bunch of different ones to choose from. I'm just going to go through here and select a few. Well, actually, we can select all these. So the order that you tap on the right, you can see the blue numbers. You can just unselect, reselect, and it's going to put them in the order that you tap them. Now, you can always rearrange how they are on your timeline, but just to make it sort of quick and easy to get started, you could just choose what order you want them to start off in. And this is only just a few clips here. So I'm going to call this pre-wedding. This is just before my, let's see if we can spell it right. This is just before my brother's wedding. So I've selected my clips here. I have them in the order that I want, whatever, we're going to rearrange them. I'm calling my project pre-wedding. I want to make sure that I have sync with CC selected so that it will sync to my desktop for later. That'll be in my next tutorial. And I'm just going to hit create at the bottom. Now, it does take a few minutes for Rush to get your project set up and everything, to get everything imported. It's obviously going to depend on your clips, how long they are. By the way, while that's working, I'm using a stylus. Otherwise, I'm like moving my whole hand around to do the editing here, and that just gets annoying after a while. I'll put a link down in the description below so you can grab it on Amazon. So it looks like we're all set up here. This is what it looks like. This is just kind of the workspace. You have your preview pane here at the top. And then this over here that I'm moving back and forth, this is your timeline. You tap this area here with your finger or your stylus to go back and forth, move left and right. You can also pinch to zoom in, and so there's your timelines down here, your previews up here. We're going to go through all of these tools here in the menu. Now, if you ever want to go back to your home screen, just hit that little home icon. All of your projects will be here on this home screen. You just tap that to open it up. Now, you can always add more clips to your project. This is just to kind of get you started here. In order to do that, you're going to tap this little plus sign in the bottom left, and then you have a menu come up. You can choose Add Media to go back to your phone or your Dropbox, Creative Cloud, whatever, and import your clips directly from there. But you also have an opportunity to hit this capture, which allows you to shoot a video right from within Premiere Rush. And the reason why this is cool is because you have so many more settings available to you than you would if you were just using the regular camera app on the phone. So there's this auto and pro mode here at the bottom. So if it's in pro, then you can open these up. You can turn off auto exposure so that you could adjust your ISO. We don't really want to do that. And we have all kinds of different, we have white balance. What else do we have? Zoom. That's not going to work out real good. And this is a great shot of my ceiling here and of the camera itself. So you can also choose your resolution, your frame rates, and you can take, how do we get out of here? You can take a still photo like this. You can see it just took a still photo. I just tapped that little camera icon down there, and it's already planning to add that to my project. Or if you hit this record button, then it's going to record. Hi. And you can just hit stop there and tap that little check mark on the bottom right. And it's going to add that media that we just shot. Let's zoom in because it's really short. It's going to add that right to our timeline. So I'm going to delete this by just holding it down, hit delete. Hold that down, hit delete, and we're going to zoom back out here. So on this lower menu here, there's this little file box. If you open that up, this is the media. This is basically your media bin. It calls it a project panel. And so if you delete something off your timeline, or if you have lots of different sequences, which I'll get to in just a second, then they'll be stored here. I'm going to close that. This one down here, this is just expands some additional controls, and you can sort of see more timelines available to you. You can just make it go away just by tapping it. So if you wanted to mute one of your tracks or something, you could do that from within that little menu. The next icon over to the right, if we tap that, this is where you can change your project from landscape mode to portrait or to square, depending on what you want to do with your video. Obviously, if you're doing a YouTube video or a regular Facebook video, you want to be in landscape, or portrait if you're going to do like an Instagram story or IGTV. Square if you want it to be square, which also works on Facebook and Instagram. So you can just switch back and forth between these. We're going to stick with landscape for right now. I'll show you the portrait mode in just a minute. Next, we can scroll over on this menu. It just kind of scrolls back and forth. We have titles, transitions, color, audio, transform. I'm going to get to those in just a second because these ones over here are actually going to be really useful for you. This little scissor icon here, this is how you cut a clip. So if I zoom in here, let's just say I want to split my clip right here. Hit that scissor icon. I'm going to hit undo so you can see that again. So we're just moving our timeline wherever we want this blue bar to be. See that vertical blue bar right in the middle of the timeline there? That's the time indicator bar, the scrubber bar, if you will, depending on what you call it. And if we put it right in the exact spot where we want to cut a clip in half, you just tap that little scissor icon, and now that clip is in 2 pieces. Now let's just say we wanted to move on here to, let's see, to cut out another little part. You could hit that again. And let's say we wanted to just delete that part in the middle, then we can delete that part in the middle. And that's how you would break up your clips and get rid of anything that you don't want to be in your final video. Now I'm going to hit undo a couple times here to go back so that we don't mess our clip up there. So that's the scissor tool. The next one over is the duplication. So That's just whatever clip is selected, it's going to duplicate it. And then the trash icon is to trash things, obviously. You can also trash things by just, if you hold down or just press down, you can hit delete and duplicate there. You can also expand the audio so that you can see what's happening with the audio. So we'll get to that in just a moment. And next to the trash can, if we tap that, that basically does the same thing that I just showed you, expanding the audio. That's just so that if you want to see the waveforms, you can. When you're making really precise cuts, it really helps to see these waveforms to know exactly where the sound of your clip cuts off. For example, it's really helpful to see these waveforms sometimes. The next one over on the way far right hand side of this menu down here, there's like a little cursor with a plus sign. If you tap that, it sort of alternates between whether you have a thin border or a thick border. When you have a thick border, you can kind of grab the edges, kind of like a handle, and trim the end or the beginning of your clip. Now, up at the very top, I already showed you, you have the undo button here. And if you tap and hold that, way down at the bottom, you see you have the option to undo or redo. So you have that there. This icon up here is the export button. We'll get into that in just a minute when we're done making our edits. And this little speech bubble has nothing to do with editing your video. It's just a way for you to give feedback to Adobe about the Adobe Rush app. So at this point, you would want to come in here and zoom in, figure out exactly what you're doing in your video here. So this is us just arriving to my brother's wedding. And like, that's just, I mean, we probably don't need the porta potty in there. So I'm going to cut this, go past the porta potty, and maybe cut it here and delete that clip in the middle. And then I'm just making a weird face and I say something like, it's wedding day. So we're going to keep this, I don't know, we'll cut it about right there. This is where it would help to see these waveforms. So, so I'm saying it's wedding day, and then I don't know what the rest of these noises are. They're probably just camera noises. You can see right here where it gets a little bit loud. So maybe right there, I'm going to hit that scissor thing, and then we can get a good shot of my family walking towards this chapel, so we can get rid of this part and keep this. So we're going right from where I say it's wedding day to walking. And so, yeah, you would just go through here, make your edits, make your cuts, see what's going to work for you, keep the things that you want to keep, get rid of the things that you want to get rid of. And if you need to rearrange anything, you can just sort of grab the clip, hold it down, and just drag it over where you want it to go. It might take a few tries to get the exact right clip and take it where you want it to go. This is a good use of the stylus because it's just a little bit easier than with your finger. So you can move things around like that. You also have all these other timelines available to you. So you should be able to select something and move it up. So I just moved that up there. So if you have B-roll or anything like that, you can use your other timelines there. I'm going to hit undo. I'm not sure exactly what that did to my audio there, but we're just going to leave that. We're going to leave that there for now. And down here at the bottom menu again, I mentioned that we have titles, transitions, color, audio, and transform. A couple of these things will pop up automatically. Like if you double click on the actual clip, this will open up this transform menu. And this is where you can, like, for example, say you want to scale it up. This would be like zooming in. You could zoom in a little bit. You can still move along your timeline so that you don't get stuck on one frame. So you can scale things in. You can scale it out, obviously, but then you're going to have a black border around there. And if you do that, then, like, let's just say you scale up, then, okay, this is cutting off my dad's face, right? So if you can come back up here under this basic panel, we can adjust the horizontal position and we can adjust the vertical position. So things are framed a little bit better there. You can also rotate if you really wanted to. I don't know why you would. And then you can also play with opacity. So there's a few things there. You also have the crop tools. These tools right here, I use these a lot inside of Premiere Pro. Zooming in, zooming out, adjusting the vertical and horizontal positions in the crop tool. I use those a lot. So this is going to come in really handy for those of you that are Premiere Pro users but don't want to dive into Premiere Pro. So to make this menu go away, you can just hit that transform button again, and those edits are going to take place on just the clip that you have selected there. If you double tap on the audio part on the waveforms, then it's going to open up the audio menu, and this is where you can, it's going to do a couple things automatically for you. Like, it automatically sort of assumes what type of audio you have here. So let's look at this. This can hear the music that's playing inside of the chapel. So it's giving me a music note. This is just like miscellaneous audio. One of these here, it should be able to pick up the fact that there might be some talking. Maybe not. But when it assumes the type of audio that's happening, then it kind of does its own, like here's a person talking, right? So it thinks that somebody's talking. So it will do a few things with the volume and the balancing of the sound and echo and stuff. So you can play with those. This totally depends on what you're doing, how you're trying to make your video sound. It's totally up to you, but you have these additional menus here. You might want to look at something like the mute. If you're creating, like, say, a music video and you don't want the sound of the actual video, but you just want the music that you're going to put on there, then you could mute that, or you could just lower the volume of that clip. So to make that audio menu go away, you just tap audio down there. Again, you can double click. There we go. You can double click to make that open up, or just tap that menu icon. Moving along to the left here, we have color. So this is going to give you, let me find a good frame here. This is going to give you a good sort of spot to adjust some color here. So right now, there's no presets or anything on this video. You could choose a preset if you wanted to. You could play around with those. We're going to go with none. Over here next to this little presets word here at the top of this menu, you see edit. And this allows you to edit the color of your clip however you want. So for example, a couple common things might be like exposure. This particular clip kind of it's a little overexposed, I guess you could say. It's shot with a GoPro. The sun is kind of streaming in, so it's almost like a little bit washed out. So I don't know, you could adjust the exposure a little bit. You could adjust saturation a little bit if you wanted to, but that's under the edit part here. So, and then you find that in this color menu. Transitions over here. So I have no transitions happening, which means that basically they're all jump cuts essentially. So a cross dissolve would be, we're going to choose cross dissolve. Let me zoom in here for you so you can see. So this is going to show you how cross dissolve kind of fades in one clip into the other. I'm just moving really slow so you can see it. Fades out and then fades in. You can hit this edit button here and make the duration of your cross dissolve last a little bit longer. And that's going to look like this. So we fade out and then fade in. So that's a cross dissolve. And some of the other ones we have would be a dip to black and a dip to white. So I'm going to hit none again on that. And then titles, it gives you some like predetermined styles, and then you just edit them however you need to. So if you choose modern title, you're going to have to, these are finicky, you have to double click or double tap. It's going to add it to your timeline, which you can't really see it yet because first you need to edit it, I guess. So you can change let me make this go away. You can change the font, you can change the size, and obviously you need to change the words on the screen. So as far as I could find, the best way to do this is just double tap on the actual title on the screen, which kind of selects that, and you can just say whatever you want here. We'll put this in all caps, wedding day. Hit done. So we have this title here. The title acts like acts like another clip. So you can move it wherever you want to on your timeline. You can drag it out a little bit longer if you want. Just grab those handles and make it longer. And again, if it's selected and we just hit titles, come over to edit, then we can edit this by choosing the font that we want. We can choose the, whether it's bold or italicized, size. So you just move these sliders however you want. You can change the color of everything, and I'm not totally sure what the green is going to do for us there, but that's how you edit your titles. And then you can add as many titles as you want, as you need to. It's usually a good idea to have, just like one at the beginning. So you can kind of move this wherever you need it. So once you're done editing this and you're happy with it, you want to share it to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, whatever you want to do, you need to export it. So if you tap up here at the little export button, and you can just use the automatic settings, or you can make this menu open up for yourself here. So like I said, automatic is going to just automatically, using the information about your clips, it's going to know the resolution and the frame rate and so forth. And you can just go that route and export it. Or you can hit this drop down and choose, maybe you want to downsize it to 720 resolution or something like that. You can go that route as well. You can also upload directly to a social media network. I like to save things right to my device and then upload to a network. It kind of avoids complications that way. So I'm not going to hit the export button because then it's going to take forever. So I want to finish this up for you guys. What you can do now is, say you have this horizontal video that you're going to put on Facebook and YouTube and all that stuff. Now you want to maybe create a teaser version of it for Instagram stories or IGTV or now Facebook stories, or does anybody still use Snapchat? I'm not even sure. So what you want to do here is we're going to go to our media bin, and we could just take this and select portrait, and it's going to change this whole project into portrait mode. But if you ever wanted to come back and change that horizontal version of it, maybe you upload it and you decide there's a mistake, I need to redo it or something, then you've got it now in vertical mode. You don't want that. So I'm going to hit undo. We're going to leave it like this. We're going to go to our media bin here, and we want to find, so these are our clips that are here in the project, but this down here where it says sequence 01, that's the sequence. That's what's on our timeline. And we can actually duplicate that whole sequence right here. So we're going to open this. We're going to tap that little menu down there. We're going to hit open, and we're going to close this menu now. So this is an identical sequence, same project, same media and everything, but it's an identical sequence, and we can edit this for Instagram stories, for example, without removing a bunch of stuff that we wish that we could come back and change later. So, so that's how that would work. And this is where things like the ability to zoom in is going to come in really handy, because some of these things are going to be basically, I mean, you can see how we have black bars at the top and the bottom. So we definitely are going to want to, where are we here? We want to scale up so that we fill that whole space. And then with that, you might want to move that horizontal position over a little bit. And so when you're done with this, then you can export as a as a vertical video that you can upload to Instagram stories or IGTV or what have you. So you could duplicate this sequence as many times as you need to make different versions, different teaser videos, different versions for different social media platforms, which is perfect for YouTube creators, bloggers, and content creators. I sure hope this Premiere Rush tutorial was helpful for you. If it was, give it a big thumbs up. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions that I can answer in a future video. And in my very next video, which I'll link to here, we're gonna cover Premiere Rush on the desktop, start to finish. I'll see you there.